We swipe left. We swipe right. In a single evening, we meet more people than our ancestors saw in an entire lifetime. But has technology truly brought us closer, or is it quietly pulling us further apart? In this video, you'll discover how love, attraction, and connection have changed through the ages, from the flickering campfires of the Stone Age to the glowing screens in your pocket. We compare now with then, how we find each other, how we choose each other, how we sometimes lose each other. And if you enjoy stories that help you see modern life with new eyes, tap, like, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow and create even more journeys through time. Chapter 1. Modern Love. We open an app. A thumb moves left, then right, and within minutes, we see more faces than our ancestors saw in an entire lifetime. An endless parade of profiles, each holding the silent promise of something that might become real. We keep searching, we keep hoping, we keep longing for that one look, that one conversation, that one feeling that says, I recognize you. Beneath algorithms, beneath avatars, beneath filters, lies the same ancient desire felt around fire pits, in temples, in castles, and in war. The desire to be seen, to be known, to find someone who looks through the noise and sees us, but to understand why we search as we do today, why we long as we long today, we have to go back. Back to a time when love wasn't chosen with a swipe, wasn't analyzed by code, but earned through cooperation, presence, and survival. To understand modern love, we must return to the origins, to the campfire, to the basics, to the beginning of our story. Chapter 2. Love in the Stone Age. Survival, connection, existence. Long before there were words for love, there was already connection. In the vast wilderness of the Stone Age, between rocks, fire pits, and hunting animals, people had to fight for survival every single day. A world where the night was truly dark, and where every sound in the bushes could be a companion or a predator. And right there, in that harsh world, the first form of love emerged. A love without poetry, without rituals, without promises, but full of meaning. Survival as the foundation of connection. In the Stone Age, love was not a choice. It was a necessity, a bond against the cold, against predators, against hunger. A partner meant more eyes to keep watch, more hands to build, more certainty that you would make it through the next winter. When two people formed a bond, it wasn't a romantic decision, but a strategic one, a collaboration to stay alive. And yet, beneath that layer of survival, something we still recognize today was pulsing, the need not to be alone. Touch, a look, presence, love without words. There were no poems, no weddings, no vows. There were gestures, small, meaningful moments that echo through hundreds of generations. A look that says, come with me. A hand bringing over wood for the fire. Someone who joins the hunt so that you can be safe. Someone who keeps you warm by the fire. Fun fact, Stone Age people often shared sleeping places. Not only for warmth, but also because sleeping together offered protection. That simple human act, being together in the dark, is one of the oldest forms of love we know. Love was not poetry, but it was presence, trust, sharing, and surviving together. Attraction in the primal age, instinct and closeness. Attraction did not arise from photos, profiles, or words. It was born out of scent, an important signal of genetic compatibility, body language, strength or caring behavior, shared tasks, and the feeling of safety in each other's presence. Two people who hunted together, walked together, made fire together, naturally developed a rhythm, a sense of us. In this world, love was slow. It emerged through cooperation, through shared danger, through constant presence, not chosen, but grown. The group is family. Love was collective. A family was not made up of just two people. It consisted of the entire group. Children were raised by everyone. Roles overlapped. Women did not only care for their own children, but also for the children of others. Men did not only protect their own partner, but often the group as a whole. The idea that love is exclusive, that your relationship is private, did not exist yet. Love was a shared responsibility, a web of connections that made the survival of the entire group possible. The first vulnerability, grief, loss, and humanity. And in the middle of this harsh world, people discovered something else we still know today: sadness. When someone died, it was felt. Archaeologists have found carefully buried partners, sometimes with flowers, tools, or ornaments. That can only mean one thing. Even in the Stone Age, people could miss someone. Fun fact: the oldest known grave of a beloved partner is around 100,000 years old. The care put into that burial points to deep emotional bonds. Love was not a luxury, but it made loss all the heavier. The primal form of intimacy. Intimacy existed without words and was seen in sharing fire, sharing food, sharing fear, sharing hope, and sharing nights under a cold sky, but also in giving space and understanding without speaking. These were the very first steps toward emotional connection, toward what we now call a relationship. What remains of that time in us? More than we think. Our modern desires. To be seen, to be cherished, to find a partner who offers safety come straight from that Stone Age. Our biological reactions to attraction, to closeness, to desire, to jealousy, to the fear of losing someone, all of them are ancient. We are modern people with Stone Age hearts. If this journey so far has fascinated you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps us keep creating more stories like this one. Chapter 3. Love in the Ancient World. Across Egypt, Greece, and Rome, love began to transform from instinct into meaning. It became poetry, philosophy, ritual, and story, a force that shaped entire civilizations. In ancient Egypt, love was rooted in balance and mutual respect. Couples saw each other as partners in life, working together through the rhythms of the Nile. Their poetry speaks with warmth and playfulness. A beloved might be called my sister, not by blood, but as a symbol of closeness and trust. Love was woven into daily rituals, gathering water, sharing bread, laughing by the river. It was simple, steady, and deeply human. And in their tombs, some couples were buried hand in hand, a quiet promise that love continued beyond the final breath. In Greece, love became something to study and name. Philosophers believed that understanding love meant understanding human nature itself. They described many forms: eros, passionate desire; philia, deep friendship; agape, selfless devotion; storge, family love; ludus, playful affection; pragma, steady and enduring partnership. Even their myths show gods overwhelmed by longing, jealousy, and heartbreak, proving that love has always been larger than logic. In Rome, love stepped into the public eye. It appeared in poems, letters, and even graffiti carved into city walls. Public life demanded duty and status, but private life overflowed with passion and vulnerability. Lovers exchanged scented notes, gifts, and whispered promises. Love was bold in Rome, expressive, emotional, and often caught between personal desire and social expectation. Across these ancient civilizations, one truth emerged. Love is powerful, unpredictable, and deeply human. It shaped poetry and politics, rituals and relationships, and its echoes still guide the way we love today. Chapter 4. Love in the Middle Ages. It was an age of castles, crowns, monasteries, and rigid traditions. A world where love was rarely free and where families, the church, and social rules shaped nearly every relationship. Yet within this strict society, some of the most romantic stories in history were born. In medieval life, marriage was rarely a matter of the heart. It was a contract between families, a strategy to protect land, wealth, and alliances. Most people married within their village, and nobles married to strengthen political power. One historical note reveals letters from parents who proudly arranged marriages between children who had never even met each other. Love whispered softly, but duty spoke louder. Amid the rules and restrictions rose a new idea: courtly love. Poets and troubadours traveled from castle to castle, singing of noble knights who adored women far above their reach. This love was not meant to be fulfilled. Its power came from admiration, devotion, and longing. Knights sometimes wore a lady's ribbon during tournaments, a symbol of inspiration and courage. Courtly love became an art form, a story carried in music and poetry, a love meant for the heart rather than for reality. Beyond ideals, real life was more complex. Many couples lived apart for long stretches of time as men traveled for war, crusades, or trade. Women in castles became experts in subtle signals. A flower in a window, a secret note, a familiar melody sung in a courtyard. In growing towns, young people met more freely at markets, inns, and festivals, places outside the control of family or church. Even in a world of restrictions, the heart always found a way, and still, real love persisted. In quiet glances during village markets, in hands brushing together during harvest, in whispered conversations in castle courtyards. Letters traveled secretly between lovers, carried by trusted friends or servants. The more restrictive the world became, the stronger the heart pushed back. The Middle Ages left us with a powerful legacy: love as inspiration, love as devotion, love navigating the tension between duty and desire. It was a time that taught us that even in a world full of boundaries, the human heart can remain wild and courageous. This chapter reminds us that love survives rules, tradition, and expectation, and it finds its way again and again. Chapter 5. The Renaissance. Love as art, knowledge, and human expression. The Renaissance was a time of awakening. After centuries of war, plague, and fear, Europe opened its eyes to beauty, creativity, and the rediscovery of human potential. And in this cultural rebirth, love transformed into something personal, expressive, and deeply human. Painters, poets, and musicians began to shape love into something vivid and colorful. In Botticelli's Birth of Venus, a goddess rises from the sea, a symbol of desire and the delicate power of new affection. Artists portrayed real couples for the first time, not for politics or alliances, but to preserve their connection in paint and memory. Love became inspiration, gentle, expressive, and quietly revolutionary. This era introduced a new idea: love between two unique individuals who choose each other. Passion was no longer a danger to society, but a natural part of being human. In Italian cities like Florence and Venice, poets such as Petrarch wrote verses so intense that they shaped the very meaning of romantic longing. Shakespeare carried this spirit forward, showing that love could be tender, tragic, and transformative. For the first time, stories revealed not only how love should behave, but how it truly feels. The Renaissance was also a time of scientific curiosity. And even love entered this new way of thinking. Physicians describe desire as a fever of the heart, a condition that could weaken the body, yet ignite creativity and courage. Early thinkers explored emotion as something rooted in both body and mind, a balance of passion and thought. Love became a subject of study, something that could be observed, understood, and felt with new awareness. Even as art and ideas flourished, some forms of love remained forbidden. Families guarded status. Society defended tradition. Yet poets and painters began capturing the quiet pain of hidden relationships, secret glances, coded letters, and promises whispered behind closed doors. These stories sparked a new question. Why should love obey the rules of society instead of the truth of the heart? From this era of art, freedom, and discovery emerged something revolutionary: the foundation of modern romantic love. Love became a choice, a source of personal growth, and a story that two people could write together. It was tender, expressive, imperfect, and profoundly human. And even today, in every poem, every film, every relationship, we still feel the echoes of the Renaissance spirit. Chapter 6: The Age of Enlightenment, Reason, Freedom, and the Birth of the Modern Relationship. This was a time when people began to question, explore, and reshape the world around them. Ideas traveled faster than ever. Philosophers debated boldly, and science challenged old beliefs. And in the midst of this intellectual revolution, love evolved into something new. Many feared that reason would extinguish passion, yet the opposite happened. Thinkers like Rousseau and Locke argued that true love could only exist between two free individuals. No more marriages dictated solely by family, status, or duty. Love was becoming a conscious choice, a partnership rooted in both emotion and understanding. This marked a profound shift. Love was no longer an obligation, but something people chose for themselves. With literacy spreading and paper becoming more accessible, a new art form blossomed: the love letter. Couples expressed emotions they could not share in public, writing about longing, hope, and the quiet details of daily life. Some letters describe a single fleeting touch, or the memory of a glance that lingered for days. Love traveled across countries and weeks of distance, carried in ink, sealed with trust. The love letter became the first intimate bridge between hearts, separated by time and space. The Enlightenment introduced a groundbreaking ideal: the companionate relationship. Partners were expected to be equals, sharing thoughts, values, and aspirations. Love became intertwined with personal growth. A partner was not just a spouse, but a friend, an intellectual ally, someone who helped you become a better version of yourself. Writers like Mary Wollstonecraft declared that true love required equality, a radical idea for the age, ere not all love was accepted. Class divisions, religion, and family expectations still blocked many relationships. But something new happened. Philosophers and playwrights began defending forbidden love. Love became a symbol of personal freedom against the weight of tradition. Plays and stories from this era often portrayed lovers who challenged society itself, turning affection into an act of courage. From all these ideas came the foundations of the modern romantic relationship. Love became a conscious choice, a connection formed through conversation, shared values, friendship, and emotional honesty. It was no longer enough to simply marry. People sought meaning, understanding, and companionship. The Enlightenment taught us that love thrives when both hearts are free, free to choose, free to grow, and free to walk the same path together. Chapter 7: Love in the Industrial Revolution. The 19th century reshaped the world at lightning speed. Cities expanded, machines thundered in factories, and people left their villages in search of new opportunities. In this fast-changing world, love had to reinvent itself. For centuries, most people lived in small communities where everyone knew each other. But now, in cities like London and Paris, crowds filled the streets with strangers. Young men and women could meet without supervision in parks, markets, and bustling dance halls. A new kind of freedom emerged, a freedom that made love unpredictable, exciting, and sometimes overwhelming. With freedom came uncertainty. For the first time, people had real choices in love. They asked themselves new questions. Who should I meet? Who deserves my time? Who could be my future? This was the birth of modern romantic doubt. Choices brought opportunity, but also the fear of choosing wrong. Life during the Industrial Revolution was demanding. Workers spent long days in factories, mills, and mines. Yet even in these harsh environments, love found its way. Many couples met on the work floor, sharing small moments during breaks or after shifts. Hard circumstances made affection deeper and togetherness essential. For the first time, young people had pockets of free time. They spent Sundays strolling along boulevards, visiting cafes, or attending lively dances. Public affection, once taboo, became part of everyday life. This was the beginning of dating as we know it. Meeting, talking, exploring, and getting to know someone before committing. Despite growing freedom, social class remained a powerful force. Relationships between different classes were rare and often discouraged. Yet letters and diaries from the time reveal many quiet stories of forbidden affection. These relationships exposed a deeper truth. Love resists boundaries, even when society demands otherwise. One of the most overlooked changes of the era was the emergence of privacy. For the first time, couples could spend moments alone. They could walk together, talk freely, or share thoughts without the eyes of family or neighbors. This privacy allowed love to grow on a more personal and emotional level than ever before. This era reshaped love forever. It introduced choice, adventure, doubt, and the desire to know a partner deeply before committing. The world became faster and louder, yet the heart continued to seek what it always had: warmth, trust, and connection. The Industrial Revolution planted the seeds of the modern love stories we live today. Chapter 8: Love in the 20th Century. The 20th century transformed life more rapidly than any era before it. 2 world wars, new nations, global movements, and the rise of modern technology reshaped how people met, chose, and loved one another. In this turbulent century, love became a story of distance, resilience, freedom, and reinvention. When millions of men left for the front lines, love was forced to survive across oceans and battlefields. Couples wrote letters filled with longing, fear, and fragile hope. These letters carried the weight of connection when the world felt uncertain and broken. During the First World War alone, over 2 billion letters were exchanged. 2 billion threads of love stretched across time and distance. After the wars, people longed for safety, home, and togetherness. The idea of the nuclear family became a symbol of healing. Homes were built, families grew, and marriage was seen as the foundation of a stable future. But beneath the surface, many began to question whether duty alone was enough to sustain a relationship. The seeds of transformation were already growing. In the 1960s and 70s, society exploded with new ideas about identity, freedom, and relationships. The introduction of birth control gave women unprecedented autonomy over their bodies and futures. Love became a matter of choice, not obligation. Tradition loosened its grip, and people dared to form relationships based on desire, compatibility, and emotional honesty. It was a chaotic, controversial time, yet it shaped nearly every aspect of modern relationships. In the late 20th century, education and career opportunities expanded for everyone. Couples balanced personal ambitions with love and family life. For the first time, partners sought emotional communication, personal growth, and shared values. People spoke of working on the relationship, recognizing that love needed intention and effort. This was new, a turning point in how couples understood commitment. Toward the end of the century, technology quietly entered the world of love. Early computers connected people through emails and forums. The first online profiles appeared, simple descriptions typed into glowing screens. And in 1987, the first recorded online couple met in a primitive chat room, proof that digital love had already begun. These early moments laid the foundation for the digital dating era to come. Chapter 9. Love in the 21st Century. The 21st century reshaped connection into something faster, broader, and more complex than ever before. We carry entire worlds in our pockets, filled with profiles, messages, and limitless possibilities. And yet in this age of connection, many people feel more alone than ever. Early dating websites introduced the idea of meeting online, but smartphones transformed everything. A single swipe could now decide interest or rejection. In less than a second, users browse dozens, sometimes hundreds of profiles in a single session, more choices than any generation before us ever faced. Abundance brings opportunity, but also confusion. Dating apps are built on reward loops. Each match releases a tiny rush of dopamine, a spark of hope that encourages us to keep searching. It mirrors the ancient thrill that once drove our ancestors to explore, but now it fuels an endless cycle of swiping. The search becomes addictive. Even when the intention is to find someone real, profiles, filters, and carefully crafted bios create idealized versions of ourselves. Expectations rise. Real people struggle to compete with images shaped by editing and imagination, and when conversations fade or matches disappear, ghosting becomes an easy escape. Digital connection makes it simple to begin and just as simple to vanish. Yet despite the challenges, the digital age also creates beautiful possibilities. People from different cultures, backgrounds, and continents can meet and form genuine bonds. Many relationships today begin online, often growing into deeply meaningful partnerships. More than 40% of modern couples meet through digital platforms. Technology can divide, but it can also unite in ways the past never allowed. Modern culture prizes self-growth and independence. People seek partners who match their values, dreams, and long-term goals. This creates stronger, healthier relationships, but also new pressures. Love becomes something to optimize, a checklist to complete. And when someone does not meet every expectation, the temptation to keep searching grows stronger. But love thrives on imperfection. It grows through patience, trust, and shared experience. We live in a world where we can message anyone instantly, yet we struggle to build deep, lasting intimacy. Digital spaces give us constant interaction, but not always meaningful presence. We can talk to thousands, yet feel unseen by everyone. This is the paradox of our time. We are hyper-connected and emotionally distant at the same moment, and still, the human heart continues to search. Across screens, across cities, across countless profiles and conversations, because beneath every app and algorithm, our oldest desire remains unchanged. The wish to be seen, understood, and chosen. The digital world has changed how we meet, but not why we love. If this journey through time has changed how you see love, or helped you understand your own story a little better, we invite you to stay with us. Tap the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every gesture helps us create more journeys like this one, and together we can keep exploring what makes us human. Thank you for being part of this story. And remember, love continues to evolve, but its essence remains eternal.